morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. This is Firoz Manji from Daraja Press. Welcome to the Daraja Press show. Welcome, everyone. That's the wonderful Amira Kher singing Samiri from her album. Such a beautiful, beautiful voice she has. So welcome. We're going to be discussing today this amazing book, Anti-Capitalist Economy in Rojava, which has been written by an extraordinary woman, Azize Aslan, who is from Kurdistan and lives currently in Mexico. She's studied economics. She's obtained her master's degrees in development economics in Istanbul, and during which time she supported the organization of women's cooperatives. Since then, she's been working on issues related to women's economics and cooperativism in Kurdistan. She was awarded a PhD in sociology at the Institute of Social Sciences and Humanities at the Benemérita Universidad Autónoma de Puebla in Mexico. And she has received the George Alonso Chair Award in 2021 for the work that's described in this book. A very, very warm welcome to you, Azize. It's a real pleasure to at last meet you, because we have communicated by this strange emails over the last year, and it's such a pleasure to put a face to a name and to an extraordinary production. Welcome.
Thank you, Firoza. Also, it's my pleasure be with you.
Thank you. So this is a remarkable book. So maybe you can explain to us how did you come to write this book? What motivated you?
Yeah, but firstly, I want to like to thank you really, and Darasha Press. It's you made a very good work to for the book to the translated and edited, and also the team. I don't want to forget it, because it's the translation team. It's work like a 1 year old. This book is John, Sasha, Elsa, Arturo, and Brian. Really, I'm very thank you them. And also I would like to send to my greeting to those who are listening to us right now, and thank you for being with us in this afternoon. I hope it will be a good conversation with you. So okay, yeah, we'll start.
Yeah.
So
So
this this the book is essentially based on my PhD thesis, and I work with John Holloway in the sociology department in Puebla, in Mexico, between the 2016 and 2020. But actually, for me, it's more than a thesis, a PhD thesis, and took a longer time than my PhD, like my life. Um, yeah. Also, maybe everyone look at the book will understand that it's a book with more than political than academic concerns. So you ask me the what motivated me. There are so many reasons that I motivated to work about the Rojava and anti-capitalistic economy, but most of them are political reason, really. But maybe I can tell you about a few that keep me motivated, because for me it's not really finished work. I mean, I research on the Rojava revolution, and the revolution is still going on, and also my research and my thinking also is still continue. For this also, I never made a close discussion in the book. But basically, like every Kurd, I have been subject to racist and colonialist policies since my childhood. And as a result, the situation created in me anger, indignation, and finally rebellion. Almost, it is the history of every Kurd child. Maybe being beaten at the school for speaking Kurdish, being humiliated because of our poverty, or having a Kurdish name at home but having another name. To remember when who one call you in the street, or hiding the fact that we are Kurdish. So this process inevitably creates a rebellious personality, and spark a search for freedom in us and every Kurd, I mean. Obviously, this process often is not conscience. I mean, we're not thinking we are going to looking and search the freedom, but it's normally and naturally it's going to in this. I mean, is I want to say the book feeds on my anger and rebellion against colonialism of Kurdistan, but it's also an attempt to find answer to my search for freedom that I have had since childhood. In other words, it sets out from the question of what a free life is like for to be Kurds. But maybe lucky thing for us that we met the freedom movement in our life, in some time of our life. It helped to us and helped to me realize that I was not alone in my anger or in my search for freedom, and that is fact. Every feeling I had was a part of the collective history of Kurds.
Right.
That is why the question I ask myself in these years and teenager years, and then after when I start to organize my in some places the political process, and I continue to ask me what is the meaning of freedom, and then I start to ask in my PhD also in academic places. And in short, I can cite the book looking to answer, to desire the must ask question. Is the what the Kurd wants in the world, and I'm writing about this. But
Right.
also, I think another my motivation is the academia, because in academia, we are Kurds, just the object of research. We are not have a voice. We are not. We cannot tell about us. We cannot about tell us our project, our feeling, our struggle, and just I want to work about this in my PhD, because this is my struggle also to write and to explain. And I can say for this is the okay, I'm writing, but also I'm trying to the collective voice and multiple voice of the Kurdish people in this book.
Right. I mean, it is a remarkable book because there's a lot of books coming out about the struggles in Rojava, but many of them are reflections from outside. And if I can just read, I thought a very, very good way of summarizing from John Holloway when he wrote, and I completely agree, it's a fabulous book. Just read the introduction, he says, and you realize that this is a special book. not just because of its theme, because of the way that the theme is approached politically, personally, critically. A book on the Kurdish revolution, a book from the inside by someone who has grown up in that movement, who is strongly committed to it, but is conscious of its difficulties and contradictions. Azize writes about the Kurdish process not as a they, but as a we. That is important because for us readers too, the movement for freedom is about we, and I think this is the remarkable thing that you've achieved, and it makes it a very treasured book because you are exposing something that is very close to you. There is a tenderness in it, but also a critical voice, which is, I think, really interesting. So perhaps it might help our viewers to get a sort of summary. Give us your view. How would you summarize the book? I mean, we want to encourage people to read the whole book, but let's give them a little taster.
Okay. But before I want to say it's a critic book, but I want to say I learned to be critic from the Kurdish movement, because Kurdish movement is a critic movement. It's auto-criticize. It's a very important attitude to Kurdish movement, and for this, maybe this book is coming from the inside and criticize of the inside the Kurdish movement. Okay. Yeah, the book is about the name. The book is about alternative, the anti-capitalist economy, but is like looking at the practice of the anti-capitalist and alternative economy in Rojava. They called in Rojava social economy. And I examined the cooperatives, the cooperative movement, the women economy, and the look how they use the communal lands and communal work in Rojava since the 2010. And I discussed the possibility of the ecological industry. It's possible in Rojava. It's also the book. It focus on the dynamic that how we can democratize the economy, and I look at all of this with the critical point, because everything that is being done in Rojava as a social economy is the realization of the economic model of the democratic confederalism and democratic autonomy. I mean, the Kurdish freedom has a perspective about the social economy. Theorizing the social economy and communal economy from since maybe 2003, when it started to talk about democratic confederalism, and 2013 they start to practice this practice in different part of the Kurdistan. I'm actually I'm looking to Rojava, but also I'm looking to all the practice of the Kurdish struggle in the different part of the Kurdistan also. For example, I'm talking about the experience in Bakur, because when I living in Bakur in Kurdistan part of the Turkey, we also make the cooperatives, women economy. I help in this process. I'm be part of the discussion about the communal economy or democratic economy in Bakur also. And for this, I'm looking how the perspective can be getting the practice and this process have also limits, have some contradiction, and have some difficulty, no? But also I'm looking in other places. For example, I visit Argentina, Chile, and Spain, and other alternative economic experience in the around the world. And yeah, I'm trying to help also to giving the different way and making the social economy in Rojava. It's like not just I'm looking to, for the research, also I'm giving the some ways and some another experience from the world. And okay, the book is about anti-capitalistic economy, but when I start to work, I understand the anti-capitalist economy cannot exist without the autonomy. It, I mean, is the without a stateless social system. Because in this thinking, the Zapatista movement helped me a lot, because they also building the autonomy and the social economy. They say the communitarian economy, but the Zapatista movement and Kurdish movement also looking to the past and the post revolutionary and make an analysis, and they coming to the new proposal about the autonomy. Also, for example, they criticized about the Soviet Union, how into the state capitalism, for example. I mean, they make a link between the power and capitalism, state and capitalism, and also with patriarchy. And this giving me a very huge understanding. The autonomy and the anti-capitalist economy, it's need to be built together. We cannot separate it. I mean,
as well as being anti-patriarchal.
as well as anti-patriarch also, no? But I mean, is the for this I'm looking to anti-capitalist economy, but I'm working on other things. For example, how the Kurdish movement discussing the revolution, idea of the revolution, and coming from the with new perspective. And then when I start to looking to Rojava, it was very difficult to understand who is people. Who people made a revolution, but where they are coming, and how they made a revolution and in overnight. There is a lot of working about Rojava, I mean, but you cannot understand the history of resistance of the Rojava before the revolution of the Rojava. For this, in the second chapter, for example, I made a history of the resistance of Rojava. Not, I mean, the Kurdish history is not written history. You cannot find in the books. You cannot find in the. You can find in the song. You can find in the poems and people talking about their resistance. And just I heard them, and I make a very oral history in the second chapter. And when I start to make this history, and I understand they talking about me about the common history of resistance of the Kurds in Middle East. And for this, or for example, when I make a compare with the Zapatista movement and other original indigenous movement in Latin America, I understand the resistance history of the Rojava is the common resistance history of the another people also. And for this, the second chapter, for example, the common history of the resistance,
Right.
not for the people of the Rojava, for all of us. Yeah. Then I start making explain how the autonomy is building in Rojava, like a commons is the assemblies, how it's working, this. And yeah, I think it's summary can be this.
That's very helpful. I mean, but it strikes me that your perspective is also focusing on the leading role of women in Rojava.
Mhm.
that's an unusual thing to see happening. That a leadership is emerging, that is a collective one, and very much focused on women organizing and taking control of the economy and proposing methods of operating and organizing and ensuring collective work.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Is the I mean, is the all the this like Kurdish movement and Zapatista movement? Firstly, is the women movements, and then after the people movements. I mean, is the women participate? For example, in Rojava, you can find every places there are women. They women participate, but not just participate. They give a perspective. They make a decision and collective decision before the coming the mixed space, and they discuss between them and then going to mixed space. This is but not for create a privileges system for women. They try to democratize the autonomy, and the antagonistic role of the women in autonomy in Rojava. It's so important to understand the what's the mean the democratic relation in a space.
I mean, that comes across quite strongly, and for me, the other thing that both for Zapatista and what is happening in Rojava is that this ability to build today the world we want to live in tomorrow. It- It's a very striking part of the description that you provide.
Yes, yes. I mean, is the for me Chiapas and the Zapatista movement is like a mirror. When when I stayed to Rojava for work and make a research field, and then I back to Chiapas and look at the together and these movements, and they doing the very similar things without any relation. It's very amazing to to see this and hurt and just connect with all this experience.
So, what do you think the significance of that is? Is that do you see that because of its an aspiration for human freedom and that we will see it happening elsewhere, or is this something by coincidence?
I think okay, we can speak how is the common things about the Zapatista and Kurdish movement or Rojava experience and Chiapas experience. We need to look how they organize them.
Mhm.
For example, they have a very important um, resistant culture, like people, not like just movements. I mean, is the SLN, the Zapatista Army, is an organization. PKK is an organization. They are coming from the very Marxist-Leninist line, and they, over the time, they transform them and then make a coming be they I mean is they turn to very popular movements, but we need to understand why they are coming to popular movement and why they point the autonomy and they how today they construct it. Um, for example, it's Subcomandante Marcos say like this: when they went to Selva and start to talk with the people, they need to liberate them. They need to illuminate them. They just they just destroyed all their ideology because the ideology come to challenge with resistant culture of the people. it was in same in Kurdish cities, because the Kurdish student organized the PKK, and then going to the Kurdistan, they start to the struggle, but then they just meet with the people. They resist thousand years, not just against the nation states like a Turkey, like a Syria. They also resist empires, and they resist all of the domination system. And I think is the this culture resistance is very important for those movements. Yeah.
Okay.
And but then after them, they when they dialogue with the people, they start to understand they need a new form of the organization, and they challenge their organization. For this, for example, they lose the all of the hegemonic or upper on the society organization, like a party, Leninist party, and they coming to Congress, people assembly, commons, communities assemblies, and this they make the change the form all of the organization, and they accept the people is subject of the revolution, not the object of the revolution.
That's very good. They become the subjects, the determinants.
Become the subject, they are also subject. We don't need to make yeah. And for example, it's very important is the in the same time, for example, Zapatista movement going to different houses and talking about women liberation, and they start to make is women I will say you yeah, women revolutionary law in 93. In the same time, Kurdish women make a meeting in the mountain, Kurdish mountain, for build their autonomous organization.
Right.
It's
Okay.
and then they coming to the be vanguard role in the organization, the people organization, and the process of the revolution. I think that these two things, people coming to subject of the revolution and women coming be vanguard the revolution, it's very important process too. And they after that they question the power, they question the state, they question all the solution in the nation state, and they start to talking about the autonomy, then different form and different things. But today, for example, I saw it's very similar to they talking about the anti-capitalist economy. I mean, it's their natural form about the reproducing the life. They work together, and autonomy saying, okay, we will organize more work, collective work and cooperatives, and make an assembly. But already all the this form is the communal and natural form of this people. I mean, it's the Kurdish and Zapatista.
Mm-hmm.
They just coming, they have a very important approach to an important capacity of the politicize the old this form. I mean, is the PKK and the SLN, they politicize the natural form of the people and make a very revolutionary strategy.
Right. Now, you mentioned that this was emerged from your PhD, and that you were putting together a book. But so when you went to Rojava, I mean, how did people see you? How did they perceive you? Here's this academic who is fulfilling something for herself. How were you received? What was the relationship that you developed?
Okay, I visited Rojava 2 times in total of the 4 years my research work. I mean in my PhD, and I stayed there like more than 8 months.
Wow.
It was very difficult time because it's the first time the it was the Afrin occupation, uh, invasion, and in the second time it was the Perikani and Giresunspor occupation. I mean, is the when I was there, bomb is just coming to the Rojava. It was very difficult times to make a research. I mean, in this, but really, it was very amazing experience to be there and to feeling all this indignation and anger and also hope to the people. Uh, yeah, and then another time I was in Chiapas is it's also is the same, like also the war is continued there. I mean, Chiapas also is not the place the out of the war.
Yeah.
But when I mean, is my interested in Rojava, it was the organization of the social economy, and but I'm speak Kurdish, and I'm following all the discussion and the Kurdish movement, even the many years, and for these people know me. I mean, is some
Okay.
people know me,
Yeah.
and for this, it was not a problem the reaching the field. I mean, it was very easy for me. Uh, for example, the people took me everywhere, and they showed me cooperatives. They be going to greenhouses, power plants, parks, farms, and they established all of this year. They told me about them. I work with them in the cooperatives,
Hmm.
stayed in common houses. Um, we went to agriculture fields. We worked together there, and for example, I planted many trees, fruit trees together with them. And I went to Women March, and I participated some neighborhood assembly meeting and the self-administration assembly. They permit me observe them. Uh, they they tell me and they talk with me. It was very important the for them to explain me how they doing there. And it was very amazing. For example, when I worked there, I'm working about the social economy, no?
Hmm.
But in all this time, I don't need and I didn't need the money. They give me tea, they give me food, they give me play to stay. Just I stay the common houses, and they. It was very wonderful to see people. This, I mean, is the despite the war, despite the bombs, people smile. People have a very dignified smile. For example, I'm this book also for this is dedicated to Havrin Khalaf, and I met in the first time when I was in the Rojava with Havrin, but second time she was yeah, assassinated by the jihadist forces. But I am always remembering the she how she was smiling me, and she's telling me about the economy project they giving. And also the beautiful things I think in Rojava, I think it shows the political stage that the Kurdish society in this mean people are thinking about they what they are doing, discussing and criticizing their own practice. They trying to something new and better and something democratic for everyone, not just for Kurdish people.
Right.
It was very great listen and see this. It's very really it's make me feel very hopefully just living the from the Rojava.
Okay. All right. Well, look, let's just take a break for a few for 15 seconds or so, just to give people time to just reflect on that, and music from here. Good morning. Good afternoon. I'm talking with Azize Aslan, who is the author of Anti-Capitalist Economy in Rojava, The Contradictions of Revolution in the Kurdish Struggle. Welcome back, Azize. It's really interesting how you were taken in, you were welcomed in this situation. And you often talk about the social economy, but what comes across in your book, I think, is you're talking about politics. In a sense, the economy is a product of the politics. The emphasis on autonomy of popular democracy, of people respecting each other, listening to each other, and engaging and experimenting. In other words, there's no, what comes across is no preordained social economy. It's thought through by the people. Am I right in describing it that way?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not saying that popular democracy, but I'm talking about how the people democratize their relation.
Right. So your book then is distinguishes itself from many other books in that you provide reflections and critical perspectives on the building of popular democracy. So from your perspective, what are the principal contradictions that you see of this revolutionary process?
Yes, maybe before the talking about the concrete contradiction, I need to say for me is the contradiction is very natural part of the process of the revolution or the all the social transformation. I mean, the contradiction is not things, negative things. It's like a very positive and very dynamic things. For this, I consider the every revolution process is very contradictory process. But we know in the past we had some possibility of the revolution in the history, like a humanity. But in this revolution, authority or revolutionary people or the parties and governments make ignore their contradiction when they just cover them and they instead of producing the transformation action overcomes them or overcomes all of this contradiction. They just close their eyes and they say, okay, we don't have a contradiction, we are just perfect. For this, I think also is the Kurdish movement thinking like this. It's Zapatista also talking about this. If we going just cover our contradiction, we just lost the revolutionary process. For this, for me, is the contradiction is very important and dynamic process for every revolutionary process. And I mean, is the Rojava revolution has a lot of contradiction. For example, for me, like a person, I'm living also is this contradiction, like a political subject. I'm living this contradiction. The desire for the statehood, I mean, Kurdish desire for the statehood stands as like a contradiction because uh, I mean, is we know, for example, the state is a not solution for freedom, but um, but when bombs fall on our heads, we just saying, "Oh, if we had a state, this would not have happened." I mean, is that this is there. People, they don't want to build a state, but the state possibility, Kurdish state possibility, is there because violence is there. Because I mean, is the violence and war just rebuild the desire of the state for every people, not for just Kurdish people. And this is the very contradictory, I mean, is with the confederalism, democratic confederalism perspective, because democratic confederalism is the stateless perspective, stateless social system. Um, but for example, this is contradiction. But there is another practice for coming to overcomes this contradiction is the popular assemblies. In the popular assemblies, people discuss and decide their life, about the daily life, and empowering the self-management in people assemblies. For this is the okay. Without state, we have a capacity. We can organize our life and our decision and our political process. Or for example, the relationship between peoples, the different ethnic peoples in Rojava, is very contradictory. um, this contradiction is not this really contradiction, because is the just planned for the all the state policies. I mean, is the Syrian regime make a lot of policies in Rojava and all of the Syria to plant a hostility between the Arabs and Kurds. But for example, for this contradiction, there is a solution: is democratic nation. We don't have a lot of time talk about all the this thing, but for example, when a Rojava revolution starts, people maybe just want to Kurdish movement is the um, displaced Arab people from the Rojava and make a very Kurdish territory. But Kurdish movement say, no, we don't doing this, because this is making us a state. This is making us very nationalist. This is making us like this is just end of our revolution. We need to overcome this contradiction. Contradiction is there, but we coming with a solution is like a democratic nation solution. Or for example, for me, is the main contradiction is capitalism. Is capital is very the main contradiction of the Rojava revolution, and from the beginning, and still is exist there. Also, is not the revolution of the Rojava. We looking the another revolution also is the capital and capitalist system is very big contradiction for all of this process, not just for revolution, very big revolutionary process. For example, if you're going to just occupy a place, its capital is coming there in the different form. And for this is the but for example, I'm looking the for example the I'm for this I'm looking the social economy organization can overcomes the capital contradiction. For example, there is some things people tell me, yeah, is the for example they construct the cooperative, but people don't want to work in these cooperatives. Or for example, they need to extract the oil for vital needs of the Rojava, but the democratic confederalism saying that we are ecological movement, and how we can harmonize this perspective with our vital needs. Or for example, centralization tendency of the autonomous administration, how creates the centralization tendency in the economy with about the resource. Mm, Yeah, for example, in Rojava, they are produce a lot of things, but not everything. They are coming from the another the place. Sorry. Yeah. Um, and for example, the trade class, I mean, is the merchants class can becoming the super class of the society. But
Mhm.
how we can create the trade cooperatives can overcome the not they they can play the role in trade. They bring to the means different part of the world to Rojava. I mean, is the Rojava revolution is the constantly in a struggle with capitalism, yeah. And also we need to understand all of this thing. It's not I mean, is the build the social economy is very actually is difficult, and with the war and with all the violence and with all this embargo, economic and political embargo, it's coming more difficult for Rojava. But people are doing, people are trying to doing, try to. I mean, is there is a collapse, a cooperative, they build a new one.
Hmm.
If we say, if for example, because it's the autonomous administration, autonomous government insist about the social economic policies, but if they just saying, okay, we just abandoned this policy, we just lose all the we can lose the Rojava revolution for, because the capitalism is there and it's coming the very very stronger to just absorb all the possibility of the peoples about about to organize the social economy.
So, I mean, if capitalism is a sort of major problem there, then I mean it's an international system. It's so. What are the possibilities for? Where is the solidarity? Where is the cooperation with other movements? I mean, you've talked about Zapatista, but what else? What I mean, you're talking really about only northern Syria. I mean, but there is Iraq, Iran, there's Turkey. So it's not just in. I mean, even in Kurdistan, it's many countries at the same time.
Yeah, in this day um, it's very difficult to understand what is the passing the world. Yeah, it's just the war, everywhere is war, everywhere is the bomb, everywhere is the just killing the people. It's how we can create a solidarity. Yeah, we just, I think we need to understand the all of this. I mean, I can talk about the Kurdistan, no, is the mm, yeah, is the in Kurdistan is all this occupation attacked, uh, like the Turkey attack, or the all this also this the Syrian government also still continue to attacking the Rojava and to try to occupy in their lands. But we need to understand occupation is not just occupation of the lands, the occupation of the possibilities, occupation of the hope, occupation of the all the power to people doing the or trying to do different life in Rojava.
Hmm.
For example, is uh, yeah, is the they I mean, is for example, in 2019, they occupied the Serikaniye. The Serikaniye it was very important place for Rojava and for social economy of the Rojava, because in Serikaniye there was a 200,000 acres land was communal land, and people uh, could use this land for their needs. For their needs, they discussed the commons. They discussed the commons for the try to make a new production and yeah, the organize their cooperative in this land. But just they came and they occupied these places. For example, when I was in Serikaniye, we just planted 10,000 fruit trees for making a very big communal fruit garden for children. and and we talk there, people talk there. They, when they start to harvest the fruit, they can make the marmalade in jump in the women cooperatives, and then women cooperatives can bring this jam to their the communities bazaar and communist market, and they can exchange with another things. I mean, there was a very smaller plans, but with together, and they came to occupy this, and they occupy all these possibilities.
Right. So, so what influence has what has been developing in Rojava had on the Kurdish movement in the neighboring countries?
Yes, I mean, it's the Kurdish. We need to understand that the Rojava is an experience of the Kurds, but also Kurds, they have another experience. I mean, is the, for example, if we're talking about the autonomy, the Kurds have a two experience of the autonomy. One is the autonomy of Bashur, like the south of the Kurdistan in Iraq, and another is Rojava, and they have a different political form. They have a different political project for the autonomy, but they are Kurdish autonomies. And I think we are, like Kurdish people, we are looking both of them, not just Rojava. I mean, I'm working about Rojava, but also there is important experience in south of the Kurdistan. For example, in the south of the Kurdistan is the cultural autonomy. They recognize it for constitutional law. I mean, is the in international place. They know there is a Kurdish autonomy, but in Rojava there is not recognition about autonomy in international law or the constitutional law, and this make create a different dynamics. For example, in south of the Kurdistan, children can take education in Kurdish, and people can speak in Kurdish. They can express their identity, but for example, they don't have a economy. Self-sufficient economy is not exist in south of the Kurdistan, because they just create a very dependent society with all oil trade, with United States, with Turkey, and with another actors, and they just unskilled the people. People don't want to do anything. They don't want to work. Just saying like this, but people really they want to work. They want to make their economy, but government it's not giving the possibility. But another side, Rojava, for example, there is a war, there is a bomb, there is all the violence process, but people make a decision. People coming to be subject of their process, and they can determine their life, and getting the empowering the self management, like I explain, is this. But I mean, in south of the Kurdistan, people just have a 4 hour electricity in day. But in Rojava, they make a electricity cooperative. They produce their energy with their sources. Okay, we cannot say, okay, it's Rojava, it's okay, and the south of the Kurdistan is negative. I mean, is that we need to understand, for example, we need to make a collaborate firstly between the solidarity. It's need create between the Kurdish firstly, because for example, the south of the Kurdistan, the government of the Kurdistan, make a very policies like a Turkey and the Syria. They create a political and economic embargo in Rojava. They intimidate the Rojava. They try to Rojava be part of the south of the Kurdistan, and all of this capital policy of the south of the Kurdistan. But Rojava is doing another thing, and they construct they are building the democratic confederalism.
Mhm.
we need we need firstly start to work. I mean, international community need to work also between the different parts of the Kurdistan for the cooperation of the different part of the Kurdistan. If we create a cooperation in this different part of the Kurdistan, I think it's can be affect and all of the Kurds in other parts of the Kurdistan, and also diaspora of the Kurdistan is living a lot of people. It's I mean in Europe and United States there. For this, I think yeah, we need to we need to make a solidarity and create alliance between the Kurdish before the international area. But of course, international area is very important for us. I mean, is the people is the always in solidarity with Kurdistan or with Rojava. But solidarity is now is yeah, I mean, it's very difficult to understand. Yeah, it's the if you, I mean, is the if we solidarity with the Rojava, we need also be solidarity with the south of the Kurdistan, and south of the Kurdistan, it's for empowering the people, not for empowering the government of the south of the
Mhm.
Kurdistan,
Mhm.
because yeah, they are rich people. Politically, it's the government of south of Kurdistan, but we need to also empowering the people.
So,
I think, yeah.
I mean, when everyone people talk about Kurdistan, the name of Öcalan comes up, and there's currently quite big campaigns going on for to see if it's possible to release him. What's been Öcalan's influence on you and on the Rojava struggle?
I think is Öcalan is a very people always saying he is a leader. He is a leader of the PKK. He is a leader of the Kurdish people. Is the symbolic leader of the Kurdish people. And I think he is very powerful people, because after the 20 years he is still resisting in Imralı prison, and we don't know now how is his situation, because like more than 3 years we don't know anything about him. And for this is the campagna of the liberation of the Öcalan is now is going on in the world. But I think it's also is Öcalan is very important thinkers. For example, everything people just telling here, it's coming from the his thinking and his ideas and his systematization of the struggle. I mean, of course, Rojava is not just building about the Öcalan idea, but inspired from from his ideas. Mm, for example, is the Öcalan talking about the social economy. Öcalan talking about the communal economy firstly, Öcalan is talking about the genealogy. Öcalan talking about the role of the woman in society and liberation of the women. For us, very important to a leader can talk about the woman liberation. A man is talking about the woman liberation. It's for us very important. And he's also he has a very huge capacity to understand the struggle and understand the people and just make a synthesis of the feeling of the Kurdish people. For me, for example, the whole the communal economy idea of the Öcalan is like very big understanding the culture, communal culture of the Kurdish society. He know how look the society. He know how understand the society. I think it's for this. It's very important man, not for just Kurdish people. It's very important man also today for all the world, for the liberation movements in the world. People reading him, people writing about him, people writing to letter to him. There's a book, maybe you know. I think it's very important. We need to understand the liberation of the Öcalan is liberation of the Kurdish people and Kurdish issue. It's very link between it this issue. Not we are just not talking about the liberated Aman. We're talking about the liberate a possibility of the liberation of the Kurdistan.
Yeah. So how do we get a copy of this book to him?
You have to say.
I'm happy to pay for it, but it's a question of how to get it in. But you know, you started off by talking about your experiences in Rojava as well as in Chiapas and the struggle of the Zapatistas. And it does strike me, I mean, that these are two examples of what John Holloway's book, his latest book, Hope in Hopeless Times. I mean, they are both inspiring examples of the possibilities of how do I put it, of inventing what it means to be human.
They think that another world is possible.
Well, more than that, it's that it's necessary, and that it isn't based on formula, but on the creation of new ideas, of new experiments and ways of building a people's movement rather than a state movement. Are you planning to write something on your Chiapas experience?
Oh, it's difficult to write about Zapatista, I think, because okay, I'm very feeling very close to their struggle. Also, I'm always saying their struggle is my struggle. I'm feeling with them like a international comrades of them. It's make me feeling very hopefully, but I think it's yeah, I mean, for example, in Rojava, it's my place, it's my land, and it's my people. They telling me they know I am investigate, like make a PhD dissertation. But for example, all my time with Zapatista, not the time of for investigate and research them. It's very just co-living, uh, living together, and talking about the struggle and share our idea and our project for the life. But I'm not going with them like make a write about them. But someday if they they ask me, or they just give me a chance to write about them, I will. I want to write, but I want to. They also need this right. I mean, for example, I wrote about Rojava because Rojava needs this work. They ask me think about the economic experience. For this, I think is the academic work. Sometimes we are just doing for the make works, make articles, make these things, but we don't think really that this moment need my voice and my thinking and my work. I don't know, but maybe I can do it.
But the comparison and the commonality, the lessons you've learned from both, I think, would be of real interest. But you know what comes across in this remarkable book that you put together is that is an idea and an understanding that it's not about being Kurdish, but about becoming Kurdish.
Yeah.
You know, and therein, you know, there's a dialectic involved in that, and I think it's a very important part of what you have brought together in this book, and I'd really like to congratulate you for what you've done. This book was originally written in Spanish, and we've gone through a process of having it translated, and it is a really remarkable piece of work, and I hope that people will find opportunities to read it. We will make the PDF of the book available for download from our website. And obviously we can't afford to give people print copies just for free, but if they want to buy the hard copy, they can do so from the website. Otherwise, they can download it from our website, like most of our books. So I'd just like to say, Azize, it's a real honor to have been able to speak with you this last hour, and to learn about your thinking, and in particular to meet you face to face, as it were. But I hope we will be able to meet face to face when I'm next in Puebla. The last time I was there, I missed you. You just left, and
yes, I was in Rojava.
yeah.
Making work. So, Firoza, thank you so much. My pleasure also with the dialogue with you, and I hope we will continue to talk and discuss, and yeah.
I hope so too. Yes, and I don't know why you were so nervous about speaking in English, but I thought you've spoken very, very well. I don't think there has been, and I haven't kept to my promise of just keeping to the questions we agreed. But you have managed all of them. So thank you for.
No, thank you so much. And also, just I want to say to people, just let's read book and defend Rojava.
Yes, indeed, and we will make this interview is available on our website. It's on our Facebook page at the Daraja, and also on YouTube. So I'm going to end the show, and but don't go away. So we have a few moments to talk. Okay.
Yes.
So good, and I will just get some. That was Azize Aslan talking to us about her amazing book, Anti-Capitalist Economy in Rojava. Thank you for joining us, and this is Firoz Manji from Daraja Press saying goodbye, and thank you for joining us.